Hello, my name is Alex Curry. Today I'll talk about how technology affects our sleep. And I will do that by talking about why we don't sleep, the stages of sleep, and then I will go into further depth about how technology keeps us awake through light and stress. The first thing I wanted to talk about was there was a study done by Gallup, and Gallup is a nationwide study poll where they go and get tons of people and they poll them on certain things. And they asked Americans, how many hours of sleep do you get? 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. In 2013, over 40% said they got less than 6 hours, 7 hours of sleep. And you think that that's great, except the only problem with that is the fact that in 1942, over 70% got 7 hours or more sleep. So, and it's getting worse and worse. And so the Gallup poll is great because it's telling us that more Americans are getting less and less sleep every year. And so we want to avoid that. Now, the reason why that's a problem is a nationwide study was also done showing asking people what do they struggle the most when they didn't get enough sleep. As you can see, concentrating on things was the number one thing, and 49.2 million Americans had said that. And then along with that, 38.8 million Americans said remembering things was what they struggled with when they didn't get enough sleep. And so we know that that's a big deal, and we don't like that. We don't want to see that, especially for us college students, and especially for teachers, and really just anybody, but definitely for us. We do not want to see that because that's really bad for our bodies. Our bodies need to get a certain amount of sleep, and we can't have a lack of sleep affecting us the rest of the day. Now, our body gets 3 different stages of sleep. Right here it shows that there's 5 stages. This isn't a stage, or it's not a set stage, but it's REM, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 and 4 will count it the same. What happens is when we go to sleep, we're in stage 1 for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we go to stage 2, where our body's preparing to heal itself and to start de-stressing itself. Then we're in stage 3 and 4, which is deep sleep. In stage 3 and 4, what happens is our body actually rejuvenates and helps us to become better. But the problem is we're only in that stage or deep sleep for 12% of the night, and that's not good. And then to add on to that, what's happening is we're staying awake longer by looking at our screens at night or phones at night, causing us to have less deep sleep to about 5 to maybe 10%. And deep sleep is when we actually heal, and we want to avoid that. And right here you can see the durations of sleep. Stage 3 and 4 are right there, equaling to about 12 to 24%. And we want to get rid of, or we want to keep that and maybe increase it by having more sleep, getting this kind of sleep that our body needs. Now, what I want to talk about is the chemicals in our brain. There's a certain chemical called melatonin. Melatonin is a chemical where if we have a lot of it in our body, then our body wants to go to sleep. If we have a little bit of it, then our body wants to stay awake. The melatonin, you can kind of believe, is like a drug in our body. Well, what happens is throughout the day, when we're looking up at the sun's going through our eyes and through ganglion cells, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and that's telling us to stay awake. But at nighttime, we have less light, and our body produces more melatonin saying to go to bed. What's happening, though, is right before we go to bed, we look on our screens and computers and tablets, and the light from that is going through our ganglion cells, and then our ganglion cells are activating cells in our brain saying, oh, it's time to stay awake still because there's still light outside. It's being tricked, basically. And so less melatonin is made, and we don't sleep as much. And that is one of the biggest problems. Study was also done to see which color of light caused our melatonin to be produced more or less. And we figured out that blue light actually tells our body to produce less melatonin. And that is exactly what's happening here. This is all blue LED light. Everything that you're looking at is blue LED light, and it's telling our bodies to stay awake right now. Now, if you look at this, you'll realize that this is a chart taken of how much melatonin is at night. And so when we're starting to go to bed, we have very little melatonin, but it's rising. It's rising a lot more. Then we're going to bed, and then what's happening is it's spiking around 1 to 3 o'clock, and then when it's time to time to get up, we get a lot less melatonin. It plummets right there. And so you can see that that's what's happening with our body. And then what happens is also when we look at technology, we have waves in our brain that are being activated constantly through the stress that we're inflicting on ourselves when we're looking at technology. And we don't want that. We want our brain waves to be long, and we want them to be small, or we want them to be big and also in between, very long and in between. And technology is causing that to not happen. Anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about how technology affects your sleep. Thank you so much. Bye.